Hello, guys. Good afternoon and good evening from Nigeria. If you are from Nigeria, good evening. My name is Yanulua. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new on this channel, thank you for tuning in. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. As we all know, today we'll be discussing about LMIA, and I have a guest here that will be talking about LMIA. She will be answering all your questions concerning that. I would allow her to introduce herself. I know my subscribers have been longing to know you. They want to know who you are, what you do outside YouTube, and just a little bit about yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Seyi, and I have a YouTube channel by Seyi Jegz. Outside YouTube, I'm a software developer by day, so that's what I do.
That's great. So yeah, let's just start. Um, my first question would be, can you give us just like an introductory level about LMIA, just to introduce LMIA to us, what we should know about LMIA?
Yes, sure. LMIA means Labor Market Impact Assessment. So, it's the way in Canada whereby you can get jobs from within Canada if you're within Canada and if you already have like authorization. So you have like the necessary work permits. But for somebody outside the country, living outside Canada that doesn't have a work authorization, this is a way whereby the government helps to keep track of companies so that you don't just hire anybody from outside, whereby there are people within that you can hire. But in cases whereby the demand is higher than the supply from within the country, this is where the LMIA comes in. So companies already that have tried hiring from within the country are unable to do that. They can go for this LMIA process, which grants them the access to bring in somebody that is experienced that can fit into their role from outside and make the person get a work permit. They can sponsor this person all through to coming into the country and working. So it's like a fast track for them to get somebody in to get a work permit as well as to give the person the necessary licensing to work in the country. So
Okay, that's good. Like a summary of what LMI is, and I have some questions here for you before my subscribers start asking their questions.
yeah,
Thank
sure.
you, Omotoyosi. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Prince Will. Thank you for coming. Um, okay. As an individual not in Canada yet,
Okay.
what makes me eligible for LMIA program?
Sorry, can you say that again?
As an individual that is not in Canada yet, that is
Mm-hmm.
outside Canada, what makes
Mm-hmm.
me eligible for applying to LMIA program?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So, as I said, this is like shortage in demand in supply for companies, right? And then they have to hire somebody outside. So, what makes you eligible is that you have the necessary skills or you have the job requirements that fit into their profile for what these companies are looking for, especially like tech jobs. But it's not limited to just tech jobs alone. So there are some fields whereby there's shortage of people and you have the experience. Just check the profile of the company or the listing and you see that okay, they are ready to hire somebody outside and sponsor you. That's basically it. For the company, they just need you to have the skill, and for you, you need to just have the experience or like the degree that's required. So for some jobs, degrees are required, and for some jobs, it's just the skill or the experience that's required. So basically, you just need to fit into what the company is looking for, and they're ready to sponsor you into the country. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, so if you don't have degree, you can even come to Canada through LMIA. Is
Yeah,
that
sure,
what?
sure, sure. Exactly, sure. You just need to have the skill in this case. So, like, there's some jobs, like maybe a tech job, for instance, that requires you to have 3 years of experience, for instance. And in
Yeah.
that listing, they might just write that if you have a degree, fine. If you don't have, that's not a deal breaker as long as you have the experience. That's all you need. go for their interview process, do everything. But initially, just know that this job they're going to sponsor you. It's clearly written there that sponsorship is there, and that's all you need. You take the test. When you get selected, then you can start job and they can relocate you.
That's nice. I still have some questions here.
Yes, sir.
So does LMIA cover one spouse and family?
Okay, so this is, I think I need to give this context. LMIA is just the process whereby the company can, fast track the process of you getting a work permit. So
Okay.
an LMIA application is done by the company that is hiring you. You don't have to pay for that. Okay. So if somebody's telling you that you're paying for LMI, just know that they're trying to scam you. This is done by the company that is bringing you in. So once the LMIA process is done for you, and at this point, before the LMIA process starts, you must have already gotten the job offer. So they are clear that, okay, this is the person we're choosing, the person is coming. So let's just start processing their documents. So they start with LMIA. Once they get the LMIA approved, that's when you then apply for your work permit. So at this point of work permit is now you. So if you are somebody that has a spouse with children, you're applying for a work permit for yourself and your spouse. So in this case, you will be getting a closed work permit and your spouse will be getting an open work permit. And it's not limited to just people that are married. If you have a if you have a partner, because in Canada, there is this is let me call it, and it just skipped
A
my head now.
common law partner.
Common law partner, yeah. So if you have a common law partner, you can prove that you both live together and you both pay utilities and all these things together. That's all. That person can also come with you. So it's not necessary that you're married. And if you have children as well, you can apply for study permits for those children if they're eligible. And if it's still children that are younger than school age, they can just get like a visitor's visa, because at this point you don't really need it. So basically, once you get the work permit process started, it covers you, it covers whoever is your dependent legally. So it's not just for one person. But the LMI they're applying for just you is now the LMI that you used to apply for work permit.
When you're applying for your work permit, can you also add maybe you have immediate siblings? Can you add them
I
aside
don't think
your
so.
partner?
I don't think so because I don't think so because just like because just like PR, for instance, if you're applying for Canadian PR, you won't add your siblings except if
Yeah.
they are your dependents. Except if they're your dependent, like maybe you don't have parents again and you're the one sponsoring that person, and the person falls under the age of is it 22 years old where they cannot be independent on their own. That's the only situation where you can add like your siblings,
Oh, wow.
but it
So,
covers your spouse and children or your common law partner.
yeah. So if you have your boyfriend or your girlfriend outside Canada and you want to come to Canada through work permit, and you guys are living together, trust me, you can add the person to your application.
Yes,
That's nice.
yes, for sure, for sure.
um so the next question here is um okay, am I only meant to apply for jobs in Canada on my own part, or are there other things I need to do for the LMI program? Okay. um
Oh, well,
should I come
I
again,
think,
or are
no,
you
no,
good?
I think I got your question. So the job search part is yours to
Okay.
do however you want to do it, and however platforms you want to take, or maybe whatever. The job search part is yours. But at the point where you've gotten the job and you're clear that this job is a job that they'll be sponsoring you, because in this case, I'm assuming that before you search, these are some of the requirements you use to filter down to know if I'm applying or not. So at the point where you've gotten the job and you're clear that these people are going to sponsor you, and then the company starts the process for LMIA application,
Yeah.
that is now the company's part. You have done your part by applying and doing interview and getting the job. Now the company goes to the next stage, which is applying for LMIA for you. So that is just the company and the government. Then once that is done, it's now your own part again to now apply for your work permit to, go into the country.
Thank you. So once you get a job from an employer and your
Hmm.
employer wants to go through the route of using LMIA for you, will it be
Hmm.
certain? Like, is it certain at that point that you are going to get that approval at the point
Yeah,
your
most
you?
times the LMIA process is certain that the company will get the approval for you, because as long as they have all the necessary documentations, right? Like if you're going to apply, the company has to have their tax filed, they have to have everything up to date. Basically, it's not about you at this point. It's
Yeah.
now about the company's profile and then proving to the government that they're legit. Do you get?
Yeah. So the
So
only thing you need to do at the initial stage is just for you to search for a job and get an employer that wants to bring you into Canada.
yes, so I'll just add to that. So the only thing you need to do is search for the job, go
Mhm.
through the interviews, because I think some people just think you just need to apply. No. Go to the interviews, get
Of
an offer
course.
from them. So it's not just you apply and then somebody sends you an email and say you have an offer. No, that one is clearly a scam. Go through their interviews, get offer from them. You can start or not, depending on the contract between you guys. And once that is done, you've gotten the offer. Company starts this process, depending
Let me
on your
also
discussion
add
that
to
you make.
that. Also work on your resume. So you need to get like sample from Canadians, people that are working in Canada. So that's what will
Yeah,
make employers to see your resume and think, oh, okay, maybe you're a good fit for them. So the
yeah.
next question now, um, at what point do you apply for? Okay, so this question is not valid again. This person is
Okay.
asking, at what point should I apply for LMI program? And while applying for is it while applying for the job or after getting the offer letter? So she has answered your question. Is after getting the offer letter from your employer. That is when your employer will work on your LMIA. So it's not the LMIA process is not your business, is your employer's
Exactly.
business. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. There are some questions here, but I still have some questions on my phone as well. How do I search for jobs opening through LMIA? Okay.
Okay, so now this now depends on your field. But generally, you know, I advise that you can use Indeed.ca, you can use Job Bank, and but for people that are in tech, there are more options. Because I'm in tech, so I know more about the tech job options. So I'm not saying it's restricted to that, but since that's the aspect that I have experience in, so
Yeah.
you can try like Vanak.com. So these people, their focus is just they have a talent pool of tech people, and they have a talent pool of companies that are interested in already sponsoring individuals. So once you see a job opening on Vanak, or maybe globalskillshub.com, for instance, you know that these are people that want to sponsor you already. So you don't even have to start thinking CLMIS. No, you know that from the beginning you just see sponsorship job, and it's
Yeah.
already written and clearly stated. So you can use platforms like that to apply. But you need to know that once you are applying to this type of platforms, they have their own internal process that they check first. So maybe you take a test or you write English, just to show that you can speak English. They can just do English test for you, maybe like writing and reading, something very simple, not like a test per se.
Doesn't that require IELTS?
No, 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 no. So not IELTS, but depending on the type of jobs that you're looking for. If you're like looking for an agricultural job, for instance, and it's LMI exempt, you check the
Yeah.
requirements, because some agricultural jobs as well has sponsorship. So I can only speak more about the tech options, but If you're looking for something in what's it called, in maybe medical laboratory work, you just look for, tune your search to this type of companies that hire those type of people and check the requirements. So
Yeah.
basically, did I answer your question or did I miss out the part? Looks like I've forgotten what the question is.
To answer the question, the person was asking at what point should he or she apply for okay, how
I
is it going
search.
to get
Okay.
the
Search.
jobs? So
Yeah. So
I'm going to put some of the link in the description box. I know you
okay.
can find jobs from Indeed.ca. I don't know. I'm just to Indeed. So another question is here.
Also,
If
you
I
can
come
use LinkedIn. Sorry, please. You can use LinkedIn as well. Don't underlook LinkedIn. You can use LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can use LinkedIn as well. But I'm going to list those websites in my description box after the video. If I come to Canada through LMIA, can I work for another company?
That's a good question. So I would say if you are the primary applicant, if you are the person that got a job, and you got the sponsorship, you'll be getting a closed work permit. Closed work permit means that you'll be tied to that company for the period of your visa. So let's say ideally they give about 2 years as long as your passport is valid for more than 6 months. So you cannot work for another company and you most likely be tied to that location as well, meaning that you cannot work outside that location. So it's like you under your employer. Something goes wrong along the way, you need to look for another job and look for another sponsorship. But if you are coming with a spouse
Yeah.
or a common law partner, that person gets an open work permit, meaning that they are free to do any type of job, work with anybody, work at any location. It's like they're getting all the value you get.
All the
Yeah,
benefit,
all the
but
benefits. You have to put
you
in the
have to
work.
or being
Yes,
loyal to the employer.
yes. But here's the caveat. If you want to work for another company, it has to be a company that doesn't have a Canadian entity because the Canadian government does not want to know that you're taking job away from their permanent residents or their other people that have work permits. So it's like they don't want you working for more than one Canadian company at a time. So you can work for a company in US remotely, you can work for a company in Nigeria remotely. That one, as long as that company does not have a Canadian entity. So you cannot work for, let's say you got a job with let's say you got a job at, which company can I think about? Just any company, maybe
Canadian Tire.
Canadian Tire. So they sponsored you, you're here in the country. You cannot work for Google again, like on the side or as a second job, because Google has a Canadian entity. There's a Google Canadian entity. So you can't even work for Google US or Google Nigeria or Google anywhere else. So it has to be, if at all you must work for another company, it has to be a company that, okay, they don't have any Canadian business at all. So that's the caveat.
Oh,
And yeah, and you have
uh,
to pay your taxes as well.
kind of confusing for me. I didn't get that part. So
Okay, I can.
for the person that has the closed work permit, right?
Yes, yes.
They can't work for another company that
Yes,
has
except if the company doesn't have another Canadian entity. So, so except if maybe you want to work for a company that is only based in Nigeria,
yeah,
they don't have a problem with it. If you want to work for a company that has offices in Nigeria and US, that's fine. You can work for a company that has offices in Germany and Nigeria. But the moment the company has an office in Canada, let's say it has Canada, US, Nigeria, all these places, you cannot work for that company.
you can't work for them.
Yes,
And
as long as
what?
you're under that close work permit.
Okay, sorry. I want to. What if you've completed your contract with that company that brought you to Canada? Can you still work for those company?
As long
And
as you're under the
if they are ready to sponsor you?
so as long as If you want to change jobs, now let's say if you want to change jobs,
Yeah.
that new company will have to give you another sponsorship. So they'll have to go through that whole process of, apply for LMIA for you, even though you're inside the country, and you now really apply for your work permit. Except if you're a PR person or if you're on open work permit, you are free from all this wahala. So
Mm.
that's so
Yeah.
if you're a PR person, you don't have a problem. You're already like a citizen almost. So you don't have stress. You can work for as many companies as you like, you can do as many jobs as you like, as long as you pay your taxes. If you're on open work permit, nobody sends you because you don't have restrictions on your job offer. You can work for any company.
Mm-hmm.
You can do 10 jobs. Nobody sends. But if you're
But
on a closed work permit,
mm,
you can't do that. Except if you want to work for a company that doesn't have a Canadian entity. And once you want to change jobs, you have to go through that process all over again of
again.
applying for LMIA and work permits. And between that period when you're applying, you cannot, start working. You have to wait until all this is resolved.
I mean, it's still a good thing now. The employer that brought you to Canada, you should be loyal to them.
Yeah.
So talking about PR, I remembered something. So when can you start applying for permanent residence with your closed work permit visa?
All right. I would say as soon as you have all the requirements. So what do I mean? There are many pathways to becoming a permanent resident in Canada. And
Okay.
you getting an LMIA or getting a job offer or both, because it's not all jobs that require LMIA. Some jobs you don't need to apply for LMIA for you and they can still, sponsor you because it's LMIA exempt. So as soon as you have the requirement, so and you've chosen the pathway for you. So in some provinces, for instance, like Vancouver or maybe Saskatchewan, you know, once you have a job offer, you have another pathway that you can just apply for PMP straight off. So you don't have to wait for 1 year and say, let me wait for 1 year. But if you also want to wait, you can wait for 1 year working with your employer. You have the Canadian experience, so it's a minimum of 1 year, and then you can apply still express entry Canadian experience class. That's another way. But at this point, I wouldn't advise anybody to be waiting for 1 year because the
Yeah.
way all these express entry draws are going, you don't want to waste time. So basically, just know where you're going to and try to tap into the opportunities that are there because people outside the country are getting it. So why must you wait until 1 year before you apply? And doesn't mean at the point you apply, that's when you're getting. You still have to wait at least maybe 6 months. Right now, it's about 13 months if you're applying under CEC or 14 months, and right now it's about 17 months if you're applying under PMP. So you just need to take advantage of what you have because with an LMI, you get extra 50 points.
Mm.
Valid job offer gives you access to so many provinces because if you have a job offer from those provinces, it's like fast track for you. Your points are higher with your PMP. So explore all the possible options that you have. Create an express entry profile. Take advantage of the points you have. Apply to those provinces and get their notification of interest. And you can even before your 1 year mark, you might even get your PR settled and you'll be free.
Yeah.
You'll be free from don't work for this employer, work for this employer. Don't wait.
At that point, you can decide not to be loyal. Um, I find a stylist LMI relocation assistance.
Mm. So, can I find hairstylist, LMI relocation assistant? I don't know about that because I think that most stylist people that are very good that people patronize, many of them are not even a recognized business. So they're doing it inside their house, like on that G and collecting all their money, pocketing everything. They're not paying taxes. So whoever will sponsor you for this type of job must be somebody that has an established business. Remember, I told you the LMIA process is between the employer and the government. So that means their books have to be straight. They have to have paid their taxes, they have to be a recognized business. There are some rules and regulations to conform to. There's a minimum salary depending on every location.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure, except if the person is very forward thinking. Many hairstylists that are collecting demo that are collecting big money. I'm not sure they have established companies and they
company.
are clean with the government. Doesn't mean you can't find, but under hairstylist, you most likely not be getting an LMI relocation job. You most likely not be getting that.
Like I don't even think there are jobs like that on Indeed. And
Yeah. It's possible to have jobs like that if the person is ready to sponsor you all the way, but many of them are not, looking forward to things like this. They want to keep all their money to themselves, meaning that they cannot sponsor you. But I think depending on you can always check all these provinces to see if these are kind of roles that they're interested in and there's lack of supply for these roles and you can take advantage of that.
because it would be expensive for the employer to also sponsor you. Somebody bringing you from your own country to Canada is a lot of expenses on their part. So they want
I
that.
won't say it's that expensive because it's just about $1,000 to pay for LMI, of which you might, depending on the company, you might be the one paying for your work permit. So it's just for them to, I think most companies, it's just that process of clearing their books, applying for work permit, then applying for LMI. Then they're not really keen on that.
So can a new startup like business do LMI for an employee outside Canada?
Of course, you just need to meet the requirement. I think it's mostly about what role are you bringing the person for, what salary are you planning to pay for the person, and then what are your books like? Are you straight with the government? Because if the company is not filing taxes and all those things, obviously the
Mm,
government will not approve that LMI. So it's not about you; it's more about the company
yeah. Yeah.
and the
Thank you.
role that they're trying to fill, how in demand it is,
Thank you. Can a business analyst get a job with LMIA?
for sure.
I'm checking the
Yes.
jobs. Sure. What types of jobs are in demand as sponsorship jobs?
Well,
Uh,
there are
she has
many.
spoken about that
There are many.
earlier.
I can even add there are many. There are tech jobs, there are agricultural jobs, there's caregiver jobs. So not all of them are LMIA jobs, but there are many other jobs that they will sponsor you and they're LMIA exempt. So you just have to do your research to find those type of jobs that is clearly written sponsorship. You can be a caregiver, you can be a tech worker, you can be an agricultural person. So many jobs.
Mm. Even for the caregiver, you don't have to have like a degree. You can just go for some certification program like first aid, CPR training, and all of those things, and just show them that you can do that. Maybe give them tell them about your experience, what you've been doing so far from your own country, and you might get a career job with that. You don't have to be a professional. Okay, thank you. Market. Okay. I still have some questions here. I just want to. Yes, there will be a replay. There will be a replay. Thank you. We have another question here. After getting a job offer, how long does it typically take for employers to get an approval for LMIA?
I think LMI process is less than a month, so typically 2 to 3 weeks, thereabout, or let's say a month. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about the current timelines now, because of the backlog, but it's typically less than a month.
Wow, that's fast. I love that. Thank you, dear woman. Thank you, Nosufela. Um, if I get sacked by the employer that brought me to Canada through LMIA, will I have to return to my own country?
Yes and no. Okay, so this is the answer. I said yes because at that point you're not legally allowed to work for another company. No, because as long as you still have some time on your visa for your stay, you can stay till that point when it expires before you go back. Meaning that you are legally allowed to stay in the country as long as you still have a valid stay. while you are looking for another job, but you cannot work for another company until you've gotten a new job offer, until they've applied for your work permit for you, until your work permit is approved. So
Okay.
yes, yes, you have to go to your country, but no, you don't have to go immediately as long as you can still stay. So if, for instance, your work permit expires, even though you have been sacked, it expires in 3 months' time and you got sacked today, you're legally allowed to stay in the country until 3 months' time. So between that time and when it's supposed to expire, you can apply for a new work permit once you get a new job. But that's one of the reasons why I say as soon as possible, apply for PR process so that you don't have to get to the point where you're stranded before you are legally allowed to stay. But you don't have to leave the country immediately. So that's like the short answer.
Okay. Somebody, let's take for an example, I got a close work permit as a single lady or a man. Then before leaving the country, I got married. How can I invite my spouse over to Canada to get an open work permit?
Um, so I would say it's two ways. So if you got married before you applied for the work permit, you got a job, you knew you were going to get married, and you can see that the JAPA plans is coming together. Why don't you just get married before you apply? Basically, all the documentation you need is just like a court wedding, a legal documentation. And you can do the party after. Just go to the court, do the wedding, and use that document to apply for the person, right? So you could go together. But in the case whereby, for some reason, which I don't think it happens that way, because at the point you're applying and you're seeing the interview process, how it's going, you will know the direction that it's going to. But if at all it happens that you've gotten the job offer, you've applied for your work permit already,
Mm-hmm.
and you applied a loan, which doesn't even make sense to me. You can see it's not like you know that. So you've already applied a loan. So
Yeah.
you can get into the country, and once you enter the country, you can apply for a open work permit for that your spouse that is outside the country. The only thing now is that at this point you need to show them documentations that is really people are really in a relationship, that you are married, that it is a true all these things you get, and it might take longer. So it's always advised that if you know that you're already doing this process, you can see how it's going, you're ready to jump, do the necessary things. And if you see that you've gotten a job offer, and the next thing is to start applying for work permit, please just go to a court to be close by and do the wedding if you are serious. And just apply together. My point is apply together so that you don't delay. Because imagine if your whole process takes a long time, and then after that you now start applying for somebody, it can just make it so long and messy. So
Yeah.
once you see that it's something you want to do, why don't you just apply together so you can just delay your application maybe by a month? Because nobody's rushing. You see that rushing yourself that you want to apply na. Delay your application for like a month and do the needful, get a cut to get you married. It's not that hard in Nigeria, and apply.
You don't have to do the elaborate ceremony. Just go to court and get your certificate.
Yeah, you can even do the elaborate one later, but for the process of application, all you need is just that legal
That
certificate. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. We've done that already. Is it possible to come to Canada with a visiting visa and look for a job with LMIA?
Sure, it is. It's just the same way you can look for a job with LMIA or with sponsorship outside the country. Yes. And for somebody that loses their job within the country, so it's still the same situation. You still apply for a new job. This time around, you still be looking for a sponsorship job. Yes.
And just have it at the back of your mind that you're staying in Canada for the period of time. Your visiting visa,
It's valid.
yeah, it's valid.
And you know
Can
you
I
cannot
apply?
work in that period.
You can't work except so if you have a visiting visa, is it only LMIA Is it only LMIA program you can get a job through, or there are other routes that you can also get job offer?
Not all jobs require LMIA. There's so many jobs that don't require LMIA, and they're sponsorship jobs as well. So we said caregiver, for instance, that one doesn't require LMIA, right? So you can just apply for sponsorship jobs that are sponsored. So, and there are some jobs that previously used to require LMIA, but at this point they've hold up on the whole LMIA requirement. So those type of jobs too. You just need to look for a job that will sponsor you, not necessarily LMIA.
Okay. Can I apply for nursing job through LMIA?
I think you're the best person to answer this question.
Because I've seen the question, and you can't work with your license from Nigeria or from your own country. So there are some things you have to do, go through NNAS. I have that on my YouTube channel. If you want to know more about that, just for you to work with um your NAS process, do all of those things, do your licensing process before you can apply for jobs with LMIA. Because if you come here with LMIA, the only thing I think you will be able to do is a carer or personal support worker, PSW. I know nurses that came through LMIA. That's the person is a nurse. He came to Canada with LMIA and is working as a PSW now, although he's working on his licensure process. So yeah, you can come as a nurse, but have it at the back of your mind that you are not coming to work as a registered nurse because you don't have our RN license yet. So I hope I've answered the question. What are the chances driving Uber person? What's this?
What
Canada.
are I think the
As
person is trying to ask if you can drive an Uber in Canada. So at this point,
LMI. I
I
think
think if you have like an open work permit, for instance, you can always do extra side jobs. Remember, I told you that if you're going to work in Canada on the closed work permit, you are restricted to a certain type of job. You're restricted to an employer, so you cannot do all these extra side gigs. But if you're on an open work permit, you're free. You can do multiple jobs. So of course, you can always drive an Uber by yourself, buy your car and put it on Uber. But somebody with a closed work permit, you're just restricted. You can't be doing anyhow.
okay, this person. How do I get a certain certificate in BC as an educator because it's a requirement? I don't know
I don't,
about that.
I don't know that. I don't know what certain certificate you're talking about. I don't know this. But I
Okay,
think you can do a simple Google search to, help you find out the process for getting the certification for people that are international.
okay. We have about 16 people watching this video. Please ensure you like this video just to support me. Thank you, Nosufela, for noting that. um, can can you explain close and open work permits to us? Um, she has done that already. She said the person getting the job from Canada, the primary applicant will get close permits, which she can't work for any other employer. While the spouse or the person common law partner will be the one to get the open work permit and the person can work for any employer in Canada. How do I get a certain okay, we've we've answered that one. Um are there websites where we can find job? We've said that already. Do I need to keep renewing my LMI visa?
Well, I don't think you need to keep renewing your LMIA because LMIA is just what gives you the license to apply for a work permit under the LMIA part. is valid for just a few months. So within that period, after getting approval, you have to apply for your job permit within maybe say 3 months while it's valid. So you don't need to keep applying for the LMIA. But if after your, let's say, take for instance, you did not get the full 2 year complete visa, work visa, because maybe your passport was expiring or your passport was not up to 2 years validity on it, or for some reason you have to reapply for your work permit because now your previous work permit has expired. So maybe because you got shorter duration or you're still working with that company and you're yet to get PR and you need to reapply, all these type of things. So in this case, that's where they'll have to reapply for an LMI for you again and then apply for the work permit. And the good thing about it is if you had a previous work permit that was valid, the moment you submit your application for a new work permit, they automatically extend your previous work permit by say 4 months
Mm.
with the same conditions. So if my work permit is expiring next month and I'm still working with the same employer that brought me, I'm still on a closed work permit, and now I need to renew. The moment I submit my application today, let's say in 24 hours or less, I get an automatic message that says they've extended my work permit for the next 4 months, pending when my process will be approved. So I can continue working for 4 months with that same employer. And once the process is approved, I know I have another 2 years, something like that.
And I feel for you not to start running up and down immediately you get to Canada, start looking for ways you can get your PR. I think that's the best bet. I mean, with with work permits in Canada, you have 50 points already to add to your
Yes.
expensive pre-application. So that's your
Yes.
best.
In addition, I think once you come to Canada, even before you come, you can start applying. And the moment you get an ITA, that means maybe by doing all the necessary things and you're still working on a closed work permit, you can also apply for a breach of open work permit. So, meaning that you can switch from closed work permit to open work permit because now your PR application has been submitted and you're most likely past the R10 stage. So they'll automatically give you an open work permit. So that means even while you're waiting for your PR application to be closed, you're now on an open work permit and you're free like a bird to do
Happy.
buga one.
You don't have a permanent resident. You can work for
Yeah,
an employer in Canada.
yes.
Um, can an employer audit to apply through LMIA?
Yes, I know some auditors. So I think I would just advise that you can go on the Canadian website, that's the CIC website, to check for LMIA roles that the government approves of. So the government are the ones that define the jobs that are in demand. I told you the labor market impact assessment. So it's for in demand jobs. So you can see the list of all the job roles that are eligible for LMI at this point in time. You can be mathematician, you can be somebody that has business analysis experience. So when I say tech job, so I'm not just saying you must be a software developer alone. You can be a consultant. If you have worked at a consulting company before, it can be a big thumbs up to just get a job at that same consulting company that has a similar office in Canada and shoot your shot, and you get employed because they already believe that you know the processes already. So there are many other rules. So you just take advantage, go through that list and check the eligible roles for LMI.
Okay. So for people that don't know her, she's a software developer and she talks a lot about this work permits visa to Canada on her channel. She's also a YouTuber here. Her name is Seyi Jegz. Seyi Jegz, sorry. So you can go to her channel. She has lots. That's why I invited her to this live session today. She has lots of information on her channel. Go and follow her. Tell her you are from me. And Vivian said we should repeat important points. I don't want to waste my guest time because I told her we're going to spend 1 hour here. We've been discussing about LMIA as and she has been telling us a lot about LMIA, how you can get your work permit, and she told us that it's your employer that is going to do the process of the LMIA, not you. The only thing you need to do is to apply for the job, go for your interview, work on your resume. Those are the things. Resume is even one of the important things. You see some people some people are looking for jobs in Canada, and they are giving them, I don't know what to call it, how to describe some resume I've been seeing lately. So try to work on your resume. That one is very important. That is what will attract your employer to call you. So for them to call you, the only thing that is representing you at that time is your resume, and invest in it, even if it's for you to pay somebody to help you review your resume, and just do it for you. It's worth it. So that's it. Thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to like this video. Also go to work on your resume. Yeah. Yes. Also go to Seyi's channel. Please subscribe to our channel and ensure you share these videos with your friends, your family that wants to come to Canada. This LMI is one of the cheapest routes that you can make use of to come to Canada. Sheyi, you're supposed to even tell us, like, give us like a summary of how yours went, because you don't have to spend money on like express entry that has age limit. LMI does not have age limit. LMI, you don't have to spend. You don't have to show proof of POF. You don't have to. You don't have to. There is no financial complication with LMIA. Just for you to find job and come to Canada, you're able to pay for your flight. And I think that's one of the smallest thing you have to do if you are coming to Canada. So that's it. That's it about LMI. I hope you enjoy this session with Shay. If you do, ensure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to our channel as well, please. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you,
Thank
Shay,
you.
for
Thank you,
honoring the
Yano.
invitation. I hope I'll invite you some other time to talk about tech, because I personally, as a nurse, I'm interested in tech. Like I've been
Ah,
doing, yes,
a
so
nurse is interested in tech.
yes, there are tech nurses now. Don't you know about it? So
That's cool. That's cool. You just
we
want to
must
take all the money. All the money.
make it too. That's why we came.
That's good.
So thank you for coming. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having
I'll
me.
see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Bye.